Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, the Pete and Fran podcast proudly bring to you the tag team podcast champion of the world, Francis Langho, Pete Langho. We are going to be talking about On the Basis of Sex and Fighting With My Family, the greatest film about professional wrestling that's ever been made by Stephen Merchant. Yeah, you didn't think it'd be as good as that, did you? No.
I didn't think you would do that.
Cue the theme music!
Oh, God, right.
Hello everyone, welcome to the podcast.
Hello.
Me and Fran have had an all-day session in the cinema. We've had some drinks. I have obviously got hyped up watching professional wrestling happening on screen. But first, we have some very important things to talk about. Firstly, sex. But
on the basis of sex.
Not the good kind of sex where penises go into things.
No,
the boring,
we're not marriage counsellors.
The boring kind of sex that happens in courtrooms. No, that's being very degrading because, first film we watched today was On the Basis of Sex, which I think we can both agree was
very good.
Very, very, very good.
It was Felicity Jones at her best.
It was Felicity Jones at her best. It was Armie Hammer delivering the lines he was given to deliver at his best.
Yes.
On the Basis of Sex.
He's a very good looking man though.
Obviously, yeah. If you had a supercomputer that made men, you would just feed details into it and Armie Hammer would come out the other side. Him or Chris Jones.
Which one's Chris Jones again?
Captain America.
No. Prefer Armie Hammer.
Armie Hammer over Chris Jones, but Chris Jones can grow a beard and look like the nomad Captain America.
No.
You prefer... That means that you fancy Armie Hammer more than me.
No. I like a man who knows what he's doing.
How do you know he knows what he's doing?
Well, he's an actor, isn't he?
Hang on, I'm starting to wonder what's going on here. What, you think he's good at sex because he's good at acting?
No, I just say he's good at acting, and he looks good with his sunglasses on in the film.
Captain America's name isn't even Chris Jones.
Captain America...
I don't know where I got that from. It's Chris Evans.
Captain America is like the ultimate
super soldier, whereas Armie
Hammer...
Hammer...
Boy next door. Whereas Armie Hammer's a bit different.
Are you basing your love of Armie Hammer off this film?
Yes.
Yeah. All right, we'll get to that.
We'll get to that.
Right, so we watched it On the Basis of Sex.
Yes.
It was a beautifully delivered film. I'll just consult my notes here. Directed by Mimi Leader, who hasn't actually directed a lot of film. She's mainly done TV. I'd say that comes across in the delivery, which is not a criticism, and I'll get to that. But she did direct The Leftovers, which was a very well-received film. And, it stars Felicity Jones, who, as always, looks amazing. To me,
does.
She will always be Jyn Erso from Rogue One.
She will.
Oh, I love Felicity Jones. And, as we've mentioned, Armie Hammer, who is very good at doing what he's given to do in the film. At the end, it stars Ruth Bader Ginsburg for a bit. And, it's... a good film. There's not really much else to say from it. I mean, I've got some pros and cons, as have you. You haven't even got any cons, have you?
Nope, no cons.
Yeah, okay.
I've based it all around him, really.
Okay, well, let's go then. Drum roll, Fran's.
No, should we do the thing where we tell them what's it about?
Okay, yeah. So it is about Ruth Bader Ginsburg, who was one of the greatest feminist activists, I would say, of all time. She's still alive. She's still in the Supreme Court, and she will rightly be there until she dies, fighting against that fucking helmet that's the president at the moment, who's trying to strip away everybody's human rights.
Even everyone's.
Yeah, and I thoroughly enjoyed the bit where at the end, there's no spoiler, everyone knows Ruth Bader Ginsburg's still alive, where Felicity Jones is walking up the steps of the Supreme Court, and then she just morphs into Ruth Bader Ginsburg.
I thought that was very good.
Yeah, because Ruth Bader Ginsburg is a hero. On previous episodes, I discussed how badly that I thought Mary Queen of Scots got the whole feminist agenda across, and how a queen is not a feminist is not a feminist icon.
No.
Especially in the 1600s, where they were just given power by a man and told exactly what to do by men. Ruth Bader Ginsburg is a real feminist hero.
She's an activist.
Yeah, and
feminist.
she
inspires people.
She inspired women and changed the world for women, and good on her.
Yes.
Everyone loves Ruth Bader Ginsburg. It's basically about her first case, which got some of the constitutional laws against discrimination on sex overturned. And that's essentially the film. But obviously there's more to it. It's more about Ruth's life and the life of her family. What did you... well, there we go. Did you enjoy it, Fran?
Yes, very much so. I loved it. It was brilliant, inspiring. I wouldn't say it was really a feminist film, because what they were trialing wasn't really a feminist movement. They were just trying to make it equal rights for everyone.
Yeah, but that's
at that time
at that time is a feminist cause.
Yeah. Which led to it being.
Okay. Yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed it too.
Yeah.
I thought it was flawlessly executed. Everyone in it was good. So it's very hard to pick holes in it.
Yeah.
But I'll have a bloody good go.
Go on then. What are your cons?
Well, I think you should go first. What are your pros and cons? You haven't got any cons, have you?
No.
So what are your pros?
Well, I suppose one of my cons could be that he is too handsome.
Mm-hmm. Don't worry, that's on my list.
But I just said that obviously Felicity Jones is very good at what she does.
Well, that seems like a barbed compliment.
Why?
At what she does.
She's an actress.
You're saying she's a very good actress.
Yes. So what? You can say that.
Well, I thoroughly agree with that.
It's my opinion.
I'm not trying.
Anyway,
but yeah, I agree. Felicity Jones is a great actress.
I said that he's a very. This is more about the film, I suppose, but it's good to have the choice to do what you want in life, not to not have the choice. So as long as you have the choice to do something, then that's better than not having the choice.
Yeah, I mean, I wanted you to talk more about this film and what you liked about it, because it's supposed to be a film. I wouldn't say for women, but a film that is about women and inspires women. So I'm more interested in what you liked about it than me.
Yeah, I like the fact that at the end she pointed out the fact that her daughter actually said that it's not having the choice. Well, it is having the choice to do what you want to do. So that's a good thing.
Yeah, that's...
Not everybody wants to, I don't know...
No, exactly.
Fight rebels or, I don't know, be on the front line. But as long as you have the choice, that's what matters.
Exactly. In a free society, you should, no matter what your sex, race, etc., you should be free to do what you want. And I think that's what Ruth Bader Ginsburg wanted. And more importantly, she believed in the law, and she believed that the law should allow everyone to achieve what they want to achieve.
Yes.
And in the world she lived in, she didn't live in that world where the law enabled her to do what she wanted.
But because of what she's done, it now means we
sort of does.
Well,
yeah, we've made progress. Christ, yeah. I mean, even in the time I've been alive, things are more equal for people.
Definitely.
And we're still not there.
No,
women and minorities are still oppressed.
On culture, depends on how old you are, it depends on a lot of factors, depending on your outlook on life and different ways that people can live their lives. But she did change a lot of people's perceptions.
Yeah, and as I said, Queen Elizabeth I should not be a feminist icon.
I don't know why she is. I didn't think she was.
She was given her power by men. Her whole life was dictated to her by men. And she's always defined as the Virgin Queen because she didn't have sex with a man and have a little boy who could be king. She's not a feminist icon. Neither is Mary Queen of Scots. She was just a puppet of other men. Ruth Bader Ginsburg is a feminist hero, and she actually did things for women. Neither Mary Queen of Scots nor Elizabeth I did anything for women.
Yeah, but you can't just look at those two. You have to look at...
No, but that was my criticism of the film. Was that like, they were Oscar baiting purely like, Mary Queen of Scots. She was a feminist icon. And like lied about things she did, like saying she was directing a battle. Like, no. They did not let women near battlefields in those days.
Of course they didn't.
No, it was the 1600s. I'm not going... I'm not trying to piss on history, but only Joan of Arc has ever actually led a battle. And even then,
but she
was more of a figuehead. She didn't actually she wasn't a general. Anyway, any more pros?
I just put that he was a very supportive husband of 56 years.
He was.
And then obviously he passed away.
I'll get to Armie Hammer. Anything else?
I just put a handsome man.
A fine note. If ever I saw one, I saw a film.
And there was a handsome man.
I was inspired as a woman. Handsome man.
But he is a handsome man. Like, you can't...
Yeah.
Don't get jealous.
Well, I will always be jealous of handsome men, dear.
You are handsome, so it's fine. But...
Thank you. Just for anyone who's never going to see me on film, I am like jaw-droppingly handsome. My wife laughing at that should tell you all you need to know. Yeah. Don't touch the cable; the thing might come out. Okay, any more pros or cons?
Nope, I am finished.
Excellent. Well, we'll get on to Pete's pros and cons. Mine might be a little more technical around the film. But,
by the way, I would like to point out the fact that I had to write mine in the pub watching the football because I couldn't see in the cinema because it was dark.
Yeah, well, we watched some nonsense about feminism and shit. But Arsenal Spurs was only half time, so I dragged the missus down a boozer. We had a good old knees up, and I watched Spurs steal a 1-1 draw.
I was on Instagram the entire time.
Just saying, what a great human being I am. You know, I could have watched all of Arsenal v Spurs, but no, I believe in us. I believe in this podcast. I believe in serving our listeners all over the globe, by the way.
Yeah.
America, Canada,
hello,
the UK. They're listening to this and they are loving it.
Okay.
Yes. So
Pete,
drum roll. Pete's pros and cons. Well, I've contradicted myself with the first one, so I'll probably skip over that. The first thing I wrote was the story's moving well, and then on my cons list, it takes a while to get going. So
what?
In places, it does. Everything advances the story, so it's very well executed.
Yeah.
But, yeah, you could have been a bit quicker about it.
No, I don't think so.
I think you could have started with her not in Harvard. I know her, like, obstacles she was receiving in Harvard were important. But I think you could have just started with her going, I can't get a job. I think that would have been a perfect way to start. And her in job interviews going, hey, I'm the best student that Harvard's ever had.
It had to point out the fact that she actually did her husband's second year and her first year at the same time.
Yeah, all right. I retract what I said. You're quite right.
So she was...
Well, so I already contradicted myself.
Okay.
So I think, yeah.
We'll
and you're right. That's not a good point. I just read the words competently shot. I think that says a lot about films because I've watched a lot. And again, I'm going to retract back to Mary Queen of Scots.
Don't retract back.
That's one of the literally one of the worst films I've ever seen recently. And that isn't competently shot. This is framed, blocked, sounded. Shots are well executed. Everything's framed perfectly. And
it reminded me of that film where he runs a mile in really good time. Chariots of Fire. It reminded me a bit of that film.
Good comparison because that's an excellent film. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like as I said, the framing. When she enters a room, it's always focused. She's dead center of the shot. Things like that.
And she always wears something very nice and colourful most of the time.
Mm. Well, yeah, that's a good
sit out.
Yeah, that's a good costume choice. I might talk about Snowpiercer if we've got time at the end to talk about costume. We'll see.
No.
good characterization. You like all the people you're supposed to like. You dislike all the people you're not supposed to like.
Yes.
Good scripts, good character development.
The man
you
from
get
that...
a lot of time to get to know the characters.
Yeah, because the man with the silver hair, the grey hair is in it.
But
and
then,
he's from...
I think that's a bit of a... yeah, but...
He's from that series, what's it called? In that set where they're all lawyers. In America.
Oh, this is... the listeners might not have ever heard this happen before. This is when Fran will describe something as well as that thing with the man with the silver hair where there are where they're all lawyers. And I will usually know what she's talking about. But on this occasion, I'm going to struggle. I'm going to say Suits.
No, not Suits.
Not
Older
Suits.
than Suits.
The thing with the man with silver hair.
The one who played the role with the silver hair that came down out the older man in this film.
Yeah.
And he plays in a series, and I can't remember what the series is called.
What happens in this series?
It's all about lawyers and
Where's
how
it
they
set?
go after bad people.
Where's it set?
In New York.
I'm going with Suits.
No.
Anyway, you tell me when you found it.
Okay.
Music I very much enjoyed. It was used very sparingly, and yeah, there's scenes that would normally in a film like, "Oh, Ruth, you're like the best woman of all time," and you know, a little swelling bit of piano music on that. In this film, they don't, but other times they do. But I found they used it sparingly enough to not make it cheesy, which I thoroughly enjoyed. The daughter. She's a little star in The Waiting. The girl who played the daughter of Ruth Bader Ginsburg. I thought she was
she was really
impressive.
good, wasn't she?
Yeah, she was always calling her mum out, and like she got given a lot to do. I liked how at the end they were like, "Oh yeah, her daughter did this," and then like her son did this. But like all the way through the film, the son's just a toddler, so you never see him or get to know him. But they seem to think we'd all be really bothered about what the son is. I was like, yeah, none of us care, mate, unless we actually get to interact with him in the film. Obviously, he was going to do well. His mother was a senator and his father was a highly successful law professor. He wasn't going to be a junkie, was he? And then right at the end, oh no, I've just written more about the music. Yeah, music was used fantastically throughout. So... get to my cons. There were some cons. There's always some cons to every film.
There is.
And you had some feelings about this.
Go on then.
Their marriage seems a little too perfect, and Armie Hammer seems too perfect throughout the entire film.
No.
No?
You're wrong.
Right, this is like a man-woman thing. I thought, he seems just like... they never argue. Like when they argue in the film, they argue about him being too nice.
Yeah.
There's no friction between them, and I think that's because Ruth Bader Ginsburg is still alive. Her husband died 10 years ago. I'm assuming they went, "Ruth, we want to make a film about how great you are. It's going to include your husband." She just went, "My husband was the most perfect man in the world. He always supported me fantastically, and he never ever gave me any problems ever." And they went, "All right, well that's all we've got to go on because no one's ever written a book about Ruth Bader Ginsburg's husband."
That's it. Law and Order.
What? You're calling out...
Look, him from Law and Order.
I knew he was in Law and Order.
Yeah.
I thought you were going to cite something better than that.
No, he's in Law and Order.
I know.
Oh.
I thought you were going to say he was in something good.
That is good, isn't it?
No, it's shit.
No, it's not. Anyway.
Yeah, anyway. Well, trying to derail me. Yeah, like you disagreed with me about this. You thought that Armie Hammer's character was portrayed well in the film.
Well, it is portrayed well.
Yeah,
Every family has their problems, but they don't want to portray that in
They
the
had
film.
no problems in their family. The only problem they had was that their daughter was too clever.
No, because why would they need to go into all that when all they need to bring across is the fact that she's needs to help fight the government.
If if Ruth Bader Ginsburg's husband was really that perfect, then he should be in charge of, well, he's dead now, but he should have been put in charge of the entire planet because he's clearly better than Jesus.
No, that wasn't the point.
Everything he did was perfect. He never did anything bad in the whole film.
It was meant to show that he was good at being
He
a
never
good
once
husband.
went, Ruth, you can't win this case or anything like that. Like everybody else kept saying.
Yeah, but you've got to inspire people. Why would he say you can't win it? Because then she won't bother, will she? And then she wouldn't have changed the world.
But all the other brilliant lawyers in the world were like, Ruth, you can't win the case.
Well, she obviously did.
Yes, she did.
And if he hadn't believed in her, then maybe she wouldn't have done it.
Just seemed a little too like Ruth Bader Ginsburg had said, if you insult my husband, I won't let you release a film about me.
No.
Yeah, that was literally all my cons. And as I said, those are pretty nitpicky cons. The film itself was fantastic. I was thoroughly inspired throughout, even though it wasn't really obviously aimed to inspire a person like me.
Or a man.
Yeah, a man, a horrible man. Yeah, what did you think, Fran?
I thought it was brilliant.
Yeah, as did I. A perfect film. I said it's incredibly hard to criticise. There's nothing wrong with it, really.
No.
Apart from Armie Hammer's Too Nice, which is not really a criticism.
No.
Yeah, he's not an important character, essentially.
No.
Obviously, yeah, he's there to go, look how supportive my husband was. And that's what Armie Hammer portrays. He does that successfully. And he acts very well throughout it. So, yeah, you can't really... Not really a criticism. I just didn't buy it. That small section of an otherwise perfect film.
Okay.
Yeah. And I suppose that kind of leads into just a small rant.
About what?
Well, next week we're going to go see Captain Marvel, right?
Why are you talking about Captain Marvel?
Because we're going to go see Captain Marvel next week.
Yeah, so.
And we've just seen a film about feminism.
Yes.
And obviously Brie Larson is playing Captain Marvel. And
Yes.
I've noticed a lot of toxic shit on Twitter going, why should a woman be a superhero and all this kind of
Why
thing.
shouldn't she be a superhero?
Exactly what I mean. And I'm like, especially if you live in Britain right now, there are homeless people freezing to death on the streets. There are people on benefits who haven't got enough food. All sorts of problems. There are children at the Mexican border in America being separated from their families and imprisoned. And if you're the kind of person that's going to die on the hill of I'm upset because a Marvel character is a woman, you need to fucking look
I thought she was a woman anyway, in all the comics.
Yeah, exactly.
So what's the problem?
What's the problem? Is this the hill you want to die on? Is
Get
this
a life.
the hill you want to fucking die on? Get a life. There are more important things to worry about out there than things Brie Larson has said or Marvel movies. If you don't like them, don't go and fucking see them. And yeah, if you think women can't be heroes, if you think women don't deserve to be in movies, if you don't think women don't deserve starring roles in movies, if you think women don't deserve to be paid for the work they do, then go fuck yourself. And it's not just because I've just seen a feminist film. We've both served in conflicts, etc. I've seen women advance towards danger a lot faster than some men who've stood still and done nothing. So if you think women can't be fantastic, if you think women can't be heroes, then you're a fucking prick. Go fuck yourself.
Alright, calm down, dear.
Right, and then after that, we want to watch professional wrestling movie. We went to see Fighting With My Family, which
Yes.
was, yeah, so I know everyone thinks we are probably better at dismantling bad films, but we didn't see any bad films today, unfortunately.
Nope.
Fighting With My Family was fantastic. Dig out the notes, dear.
I don't have any notes.
Well, I made notes.
Oh, okay.
Hand me the notebook of power.
There's your notes.
These are notes from the Ruth Bader Ginsburg movie.
Oh, are these your notes?
Okay, well, we've still got a structure in here, though. So, Fighting With My Family stars... Well, I've written
I'll
it.
do this bit.
Okay.
Stars The Rock, obviously, one of my very favourite wrestlers. And I would like to point out that my dad and I used to watch wrestling when we were growing up, when I was growing up, and I absolutely loved it. It was brilliant. My dad loves wrestling, and I really like wrestling. Mm-hmm. It's got Lena Headey.
Lena Headey.
Headey. Sorry,
Mm-hmm.
Lena. Mm-hmm. Vince Vaughn, obviously. Florence Pugh. and written and directed by Stephen Merchant, which is one of my favourite comedians.
Yeah, absolutely agree with that. Although, there's one thing I'll disagree with from the intro. It said it stars The Rock, and I got that because before we'd seen it, I went, going to write some notes before.
Yeah, but he is in it.
Starring.
Yeah, but that's not the point. The point
is the point. This is one of my first criticisms. The Rock is in 2 scenes, briefly, and that pissed me off because they sold a lot of it on The Rock being in it. And if you're going to make a film about wrestling with The Rock in it, I want more Rock.
He's only meant to be in it as sort of like a buffer, to get it going, start it, that sort of thing. He's not meant to be the star. But she's meant to be the star.
If you're going to be inspired by a professional wrestler and Stone Cold Steve Austin or Mick Foley isn't available, The Rock.
Whoa, there, Tiger.
Then if you're going to put a guy in a film, who's done more films? The Rock's an actor as well as a wrestler. Steve Austin's had a go at films. Mick Foley's not even bothered. Because Mick Foley didn't want to. Mick Foley's main skill is falling off things.
Yeah, but he does it very well.
Well, yeah, I don't think I'm insulting Mick Foley. He's one of the greatest wrestlers. I'd say he's a better wrestler than The Rock, The Undertaker, and Steve Austin all rolled into one. But what he isn't is an actor. And that's why all his characters are always a bit fucked up. For want of a better word. So,
but your point about The Rock.
He's not in it enough. It's unfair to put him in the credits as a star. Because he's not in it. He's in 2 scenes. You can't say you're a star if you're in 2 scenes.
Yeah, but he's in the most 2 important scenes.
Barely.
Where she gets...
She was already... No, he doesn't advance anything apart from... No, in fact, he doesn't do anything in the film.
He does!
He doesn't, right. At the start, they're going out for their trial at the O2, and The Rock is just there. And he's like, here's how to do smack talk. But she's not good at smack talk at the start.
Yeah, but she gets better at it because she learns from him.
She learns from Vince Vaughn. She doesn't learn from The Rock. And at the end, all he does is go, yeah, you were really good. Now you're a wrestler. The Rock actually doesn't have any impact on the film. You could cut him out, and it wouldn't make any difference.
I disagree. But anyway, let's move on.
Okay, right. So you didn't make a pros and cons list for this film.
No, because they're all pros.
But you can bat back and forth my pros and cons
I will
list.
disagree with all your cons.
Will you?
Yes.
Well, we'll see, won't we? So, first pro, the backstory of her. There wasn't a lot of origin story. She was just pretty much straight into being a wrestler. There was a little bit where she's a kid and she doesn't want to be... Yeah, and I liked that. Yes. She was in.
Straight in.
Ready to start being a WWE superstar, and I liked that. Because I didn't want to see...
Her family taught her well.
Yeah, I didn't want to see some bad kid actor going, really what I like is Barbies. Because it wouldn't have made sense.
No.
Yeah. There's a bit of a not wanting to be a wrestler, but changing her mind. And you would.
Yeah, that's only because she was having cold feet.
You're in a family of wrestlers. You're obviously going to want to be a wrestler eventually. Yeah. Which I liked. Graham Coxon wrote the music from Blur.
Oh, yeah.
And that's why the music was so good. Always good. And then we get to my favourite pro. One of the first scenes, man getting hit in the face with a trash can lid and bowling balls to the dick.
I like that bit.
One of the sorry, spoilers. An enormous black gentleman in a leotard gets hit.
I recognised him.
Yeah, I'm very sorry I don't know his name, but
I'm very sorry.
He pops up in a lot of British films. He's a very good actor, and Nick Frost hitting him in the face with a bin lid and a bowling ball to the dick.
He asks him first if he can do it.
He asks him, yeah, but it is one of the most hilarious scenes I've seen in a film in a very long time.
Yes.
And I thoroughly enjoyed it. So I'm going to skip over to a con. The script is very Stephen Merchant. At times,
what's wrong with that?
At times I'm hearing dialogue delivered by Americans that I can just hear in my mind coming out of Stephen Merchant's mouth.
I like Stephen Merchant though.
Yeah. I'm not saying this is again. These are small cons.
Okay.
But there's dialogue delivered that is. I just hear Stephen Merchant talking, not the characters. But then, if you don't know the work of Stephen Merchant very well, and remember, I'm a fucking weirdo that remembers every single thing I've ever heard.
Yeah, I can see what you mean, especially with the comic thing that he did with Ricky Gervais and.
Yeah, and every now and then you can tell where because he directed as well. You can tell where he's like really guided the actor because they'll have a bit of a tinge of his accent in their work, and it doesn't really make a lot of sense. But again, a small comment because the dialogue throughout is funny, well delivered. Everyone who acts in it acts very well. So yeah, just like with On the Basis of Sex, these are small
Very
niggles
small
with an
niggles.
otherwise very, very good film. So back to some pros.
He always has to find the fun stuff.
Anyone would think that, yeah. Anyway, the dinner scene that Stephen Merchant is in himself with his wife, I thought was an excellent pro.
Yes.
One of the funniest things I've ever seen. Like a straight-laced family eating a Chinese takeaway with a family of wrestlers.
I'm surprised no one fired.
Yeah, well, see, yeah. And again, I was expecting that kind of level throughout. Yeah. But no, Stephen Merchant's a better writer than that. And instead you get one of the, again, like bowling ball to the dick scene, but without any bowling balls to the dick. This is pure dialogue-driven, just comedy gold. The dinner scene is, yeah, you have to go see the film. I don't want to spoil it too much, but like reciting bits of it. Right. I'll just go for another. Well, I've written heartfelt and lovely.
Oh yes.
Yeah, it really is. All the characters you like.
You like them all.
Yeah, Lena.
Her brother, even though he's a dick.
Yeah. You kind of get why he's being a dick.
Yeah, because he wants it himself, but he can't.
Yeah.
But then he realizes in the end.
And like Ryan Johnson, Stephen Merchant subverts your expectations. She goes off to wrestling camp, the lady.
She does.
I'll also point out Florence Pugh, a revelation. She's going places. One of the best actresses I've ever seen from a first role. She's never been in a starring role or anything before.
Very good.
Absolutely fantastic. But yeah, she goes off to wrestling camp and there's these 3 blonde bimbos. And I'm like, I thought you were better than this, Stephen Merchant. Oh, they're going to be like...
That's just to put you off, you see.
He puts us off. I've actually put this in my cons list, but I'd say it's more of a pro. Because later on, she's like, right, you bitches, stop talking about me behind my back and all that. And then it actually turns out they weren't talking about behind her back. They're actually very nice women. They're just talking about their kids and
they all
stuff.
want something in life. To make their lives better.
They all work. Yeah, they were all working incredibly hard at this thing to be stars. Yeah, I think initially, I wrote it as a con because I was like, 3 blonde bimbos that are going to be mean to her.
I like one of them. She's what's her name?
But then later in the film, that wasn't what he was doing at all. He was subverting your expectations. It was very, very good. Big shout out to Lena Headey and Nick Frost.
Yes.
Yeah, like Nick Frost's always good.
I love him.
I've never seen Lena Headey play that kind of role though.
No.
She's like, being funny. I don't think I've ever seen her be funny.
No, I've always seen her in other stuff where she...
Or play someone that isn't like haughty and a queen or like a posh lady. She's brilliant.
She's brilliant, isn't she?
Sort of trashy, like ex... Yeah, she actually says, isn't she used to live on the streets and be a drug addict and things. That's her character. And I totally buy her. Her voice is a bit too posh, but then you could also just think, some people from...
I don't think it's too posh.
Yeah, that's just her accent.
Yeah.
You can't always change your accent that well. But yeah, like as well, you can't always say that people from, nice backgrounds can't end up on the streets and on drugs and things. So yeah, not even a criticism. Lena Headey was really good. I've criticised The Rock not being in it enough. Vince Vaughn was superb throughout. A lot of his scenes were clearly improvised, which I liked.
Yeah.
A lot of him just slagging the wrestlers' banter off.
I think he's great though. He always makes me laugh.
Vince Vaughn, if you go, right, I need a guy to be consistently funny in all my scenes.
Yeah.
I'd give Vince Vaughn, Will Ferrell, kind of something like that a call. Vince Vaughn's more viable as a wrestling coach than like someone like Will Ferrell or John C. Reilly or someone like that. Yeah,
I like him in everything I've ever seen him in.
Yeah, he's a superb comic actor.
Couples Retreat is my favourite film, by the way.
Oh, God.
And I would like to review that film one day.
Well, I'm glad you've picked another one you love and I hate, because that'll be next week's episode, as well as a Captain Marvel review.
Oh, God.
Yeah. Well, I'll do a quick...
Anyway, let's carry on with this film.
Going down the list.
Because we get sidetracked.
Yeah. Oh yeah, just a line of dialogue from Nick Frost that, oh my god, it divided the room a little bit when she's dyed her hair blonde and had a fake tan, and Nick Frost comes into the girl's bedroom and kisses her and goes, "Oh, it's like kissing an Afghan." Right, clearly Stephen Merchant's not been out and about probably around minorities as much as the rest of us. Yeah. What he means, it's like kissing a rug.
Yes, I thought that, but
like half the room went like kissing a rug. Half the room went, ooh, bit racist.
He means a rug.
Yeah, he obviously means a rug. Not I've kissed a brown-looking person. It's like kissing an Afghan
with white hair.
Yeah, yeah. Only to be fair, if she's kept her hair colour and just been tanned and you kissed her and gone, it's like kissing an Afghan, and gone, bit racist. Because of the hair, I was like, he means a rug.
He means a rug.
Yeah. Christ, yeah, my notes are all over the place.
Can you even read them?
Yeah.
You can't, can you?
Not really. Yeah. I mean, whatever else I had to say was probably not that important. So.
It was a great film, and I cried at the end.
Yeah, you actually cried. So there's no point in me asking, did you enjoy it?
I did.
As did I. Would you recommend this film? And if so, who to?
My mum and dad.
Really?
Yeah, my mum and dad would love it. My dad would love it.
Oh yeah, your dad loves wrestling.
Yeah.
It made me want to watch
wrestling.
The Rock versus Stone Cold Steve Austin at Backlash, again. Which was the greatest wrestling.
I watched that with my dad.
You watched Backlash?
Yeah.
Oh, Backlash was so good.
I used to watch loads of
stuff. That was like
with
the
my dad.
Best ever. I would say that's the height of WWE.
That's what we should watch when we go around my mum and dad's next Friday.
Yes, if we watch that, I'll be all over that.
Yes.
Because you had the Royal Rumble.
And eat samosas.
Yes. We had the Royal Rumble where Steve Austin fought Vince McMahon at the beginning.
Yes.
Steve Austin won. He won the Royal Rumble, so he got his shot at WrestleMania. He beat The Rock at WrestleMania for the WWF title at that time.
Yes, he did,
And then Backlash, the lead up to Backlash was amazing. The Rock threw Steve Austin off a bridge. Steve Austin crushed The Rock's car and a hearse with his monster truck, hit The Rock in the head with a shovel and buried him in a grave.
I remember because he borrowed the... Didn't he borrow the Undertaker's thing?
Yeah, he tricked him.
Yeah.
And then after that, even more cool shit happened because the corporate ministry merged together. The Undertaker's Ministry of Darkness merged with Shane McMahon's corporation. And they had to fight the Union, which was... well, The Rock was always on his own. But yeah, the Stone Cold and The Rock were fighting him. But then Mankind teamed up with the Big Show, Test, and Ken Shamrock. To fight the corporate ministry. That was the best time of wrestling in my opinion.
I think that's what we should do next Friday.
Yeah.
At my mum and dad's.
Okay, so we're getting towards the end of the podcast. Just a tiny little roundup of February. I'd say in this month we both saw Green Book, which won an Oscar.
Yes.
Do you think it deserved Best Picture Oscar out of the nominations?
Yes, I think so.
You think it was the best out of the nominations? Better
than nominations?
Better than the favourite of Bohemian Rhapsody. Oh Christ! Roma. We didn't see Roma. Neither of us saw Roma, so we can't compare.
I mean, I did like Green Book.
On a technical level, it's no way as good as the favourite.
I don't think it's as good as Bohemian Rhapsody.
Yeah, I'd agree with that as well. Yeah, Bohemian Rhapsody was by no means perfect. For me, the favourite, that's an Oscar-winning film. There's no.
She was amazing in it.
Yeah,
Felicity
the acting's
Jones.
fantastic.
Hats off.
That was on the basis of sex.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
The favourite was Olivia Colman,
Rachel
Rachel Weisz, and Emma Stone. Yeah,
I'm not very good at
how the fucking favourite didn't win, I don't know. I also
she did win an Oscar, though, for...
Yeah, and rightly so. Olivia Colman was fantastic. I saw Can You Ever Forgive Me, did you see? Can You Ever Forgive Me?
Nope, I missed it, I'm afraid,
I've reviewed both Green Book and Can You Ever Forgive Me. They're on previous episodes, so I won't go into detail. A tiny touch again on Alita Battle Angel, because there's been a bit of controversy about this. We'll see. Alita Battle Angel, what were your takes on it apart from it being boring as shit?
It was alright, but it was very long and it just didn't get to the point.
It was all flash and it was all mouth and no trousers.
All flash and no bang.
Yeah, exactly. Obviously beautiful. You've got a great director and a great producer, James Cameron.
Very visually
James
pleasing.
Cameron should not write should not write films because he's not very good at it. What he should do is direct, because he's directed some amazing films. Tony.
No, we're not doing it. We're not doing it.
You don't have to talk about it. I'm just going to say, if you've got time, if you've got an Amazon subscription, spend £3.50 and rent Snowpiercer, which is a film from 2013 with Chris Evans. It's very, very good. I'll do a deep dive on my own about it because Fran didn't enjoy it as much as me. But it may be one of the best action films I've ever seen.
It was good, but...
Thought you didn't want to talk about it.
We're talking about the other two films.
We finished talking about them.
Yeah, it's about these two films.
Just talking about movies. Anyway, we're at 40 minutes now, so let's call it a night.
Yes.
I would say, on the basis of sex, definitely a yes from me.
Yes.
Fighting with my family.
Yes.
A double yes from both of us. Thank you very much for listening.
You can view this on YouTube.
You can listen to it on YouTube. You can listen to it on Podbean. You can listen to it on iTunes. You can listen to it on Spotify. You'll already know this because you're already listening to it somewhere. What else can I say? There's going to be a sketch show this week from some wonderful British sketch writers that me and Fran have performed in the sketches.
I've tried my best.
Fran is a fine actress. And so am I. So look forward to it. I'm a fine actress too. There'll also be another episode of Investigations of the Oddly Strange this week. 3 episodes coming out of us. We are a podcast factory over here, producing constantly excellent content.
Thank you for listening.
We are really quite amazed how we keep week on week doubling our listenership. We are more and more amazed by how many listeners we are getting.
Couldn't do without you.
How many listeners we're getting in the US and Canada. You're now more prevalent than our British listeners, which I did not expect. And we're very grateful to you. As I said, there is still one listener in Michigan. I'm assuming it's one. One listener in Michigan. You never know, it might be more. We would still love to hear from you because we just like to know more about you. Before you get drowned out by all the other listeners coming from New Jersey, New York, and the Washington, D.C. area, we are genuinely amazed by
Thank you very much.
How quickly we've gained as many listeners as we have, and we're very, very grateful. If you'd like to talk to us, we're both on Twitter. I'm at Pete Langhelt, capital P, capital L. We should probably spell our surname, Langhelt.
Yes, no D in there.
You're on Instagram. What's your Instagram
just
name?
Francis Langhelt.
F and capital F's anywhere?
Nope. You'll find me.
Francis Langhelt, Langhelt.
Yes.
Yeah. And if you want to email us, we'd be very grateful to go over any content you send us. I'm at petelanghelt30@gmail.com. All small letters.
Lovely.
Thank you very much for listening. We'll see you next week. Probably do another I Hate It, You Love It episode.
Yes, we can.
That has done very well.
Couples Retreat and
a mystery film that you're going to absolutely detest. And we'll probably do a quick review of Captain Marvel. I'm assuming I will love it because it looks really good.
I will love it.
If both of us hate it for some reason, we'll do 2 episodes of the podcast.
Yeah. We'll see how we go.
And then you'll get 4 episodes of podcast next week. How amazing would that be?
Amazing.
That would be the most amazing thing that's ever happened.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Thank you for listening. Bye. 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 Say bye. Bye. If you smell what the Rock is